This conference will now be recorded.
Well, good morning, everybody. I want to thank you for participating in today's Nacogdoches Chamber Stakeholder Conference Call, sponsored by our friends from Burke. My name is Wayne Mitchell, and I've asked my colleague Kelly Augustine to jump in if sadly you lose me for any reason. I'm sitting in beautiful downtown Little Rock, Arkansas, at a McDonald's right now, pirating their Wi-Fi feed. So I appreciate McDonald's and all they do for me. I'd respectfully ask all of you to put your phones and your computers on mute until we're ready for questions. And I'm pleased to introduce two new friends, one new friend and one colleague of mine. Mary Mocniak is executive director of the Piney Woods Apartment Association. She's no stranger to all of us. Mary provides leadership in a variety of different ways in Nacogdoches. She's going to give us an update on the current status of the apartment and housing market in Nacogdoches. Mary's been very involved in the past with the chamber, and I'm going to kill that phone. I apologize. There, it's gone. Mary's been very involved with the Nacogdoches Chamber in a variety of different roles, and we're pleased to have Mary join us this morning. I'm also pleased to welcome David Mintz, CAE. For those of you who don't know what CAE is, the Certified Association Executive. He's Vice President of Government Affairs for the Texas Apartment Association. And David will share some information about housing apartment trends in Texas, and we're pleased to welcome David on the call as well. We could not have a more timely call and topic than this, with Congress's failure last weekend to deal with the eviction legislation. So, Mary, why don't we start with you? Good morning, Mary Mocniak.
Good morning, Wayne and everyone else. And this is a weird position to be on this end of this call instead of sitting back and enjoying my coffee. So, as you stated, I'm the association executive for the Piney Woods Apartment Association. I've been in this industry, I've owned property since for the last 27 years. And when I became a member of the Piney Woods Apartment Association, it also gave me membership for the Texas Apartment Association and the National Apartment Association. So I got 3 in 1, and I was able to be taught as well as I would listen. You know, I've learned a lot in the last 27 years. And during those years, I had a number of positions with the association, from you know, a treasurer to the president and to whatever else we needed to do. But 14 years ago, I took over, in the legal sense of the word, the association executive position. Our membership, for those of you that think we're just this little bitty, and we are little bitty in comparison to the state of Texas for sure, and national, but we're mighty. We have 100, and we count them as 143 members. 32 of those members, 132, excuse me. I corrected some this morning. 132 members. 32 of those members are product service. And the rest are property owners. Now, those property owners, it's not just Nacogdoches. I have Nacogdoches and Angelina. I have Trinity, Polk, and Houston counties south of us. And I have Shelby, Sabine, and San Augustine north of us. So in those 8 counties, our numbers go by doors, doors on the properties. And we have in Nacogdoches over 48, or around 4,800 doors that are membership. There's probably about, my best guess, because I couldn't find it anywhere that would give me an exact number, best guess, there's about 1,000 or so members that are not, there are 1,000 or so owners that are not members of the association. And a lot of that is because an owner that has one house, 2, 3, 4, how many houses they rent out, they don't look at themselves as an apartment association. So why join the association? Well, we're open to all. We take single family home owners, anyone that rents to housing, that rents to housing. Okay. I know there's been a lot of changes going on in the last year and a half, and it's been up and down situation. And so I felt that, you know, little old me over here in East Texas, I get lots of information over my computer, and I go to meetings, or I'm in these Zoom calls, and I get a lot of information, but some of it I don't end up using in this area. So I don't retain it. And then, well, I'm a little older too, so I have trouble retaining things. So I thought I'd bring the best of the best in the state of Texas. And I think he's best over the nation also. Although there are a couple that kind of stand with him in national level. But on that note, I'm going to turn the rest of our information and housing to all of you over to David Mintz, our Vice President of Governmental Affairs. David, it's yours.
Well, thanks, Mary, and what a really kind thing for you to say. It is so great to be with y'all today, and I'm sorry that I'm not in Nacogdoches or even Little Rock, but I am calling in from Austin today to be with y'all. And as Mary was saying, you know, the last year and a half with the pandemic has been trying for everyone, but as we know, there's been a tremendous focus on housing issues. And I think at the beginning of the pandemic, if we go back year and a half or so, you know, our first concern, of course, was what are we doing at our properties, just like many of you were with your businesses, in trying to adjust protocols and policies to make sure that residents and employees were being kept safe, reducing spread of the virus, adjusting to an environment where not only were we having to be open and having to manage, in some cases remotely, as you have people on site, but being in a position where
David, I think you went mute.
Thank you. Sorry about that. I'm not sure where I went mute, but to go back, and I also lost my screen for a moment. There we go. Mary, would you help me and just tell me the last thing that you heard? Now she's on mute. I'm sorry about that. Technical issues, of course. But going back, I think all of the challenges that we faced as an industry in having people at home 24 hours a day, in trying to manage remotely and deal with those issues. But along with that, of course, came the impact on the economy. And we know that a lot of people, either because they faced illness or because of the industries that they were in, were having job losses or reduced hours or other financial problems, that was having an impact on their ability to rent as well. One of the really great things I've seen about this industry over the years is whenever there's a disaster, whenever there's a problem that residents are facing, I mean, our members are in the business of providing housing. They care about their residents. They want to make sure that there's a good relationship there and that they're doing everything they can, when possible, to help in times of trouble. So well before there were eviction moratoriums or aid programs or anything else, you saw that our industry was responding with people who were waiving fees, offering payment plans. In some companies, we're offering direct rental assistance to people, or organizing food drives or other things to help keep people in their homes and try to ease some of the problems that they're facing as a result of the pandemic. The other issue that we faced was a multiplicity of responses. So, we actually worked with the state of Texas on an initial eviction moratorium back in toward the end of March of 2020 that lasted through the middle of May. We were working with policymakers on court procedures at the local level, talking to community leaders about different ways that we're trying to work with residents and trying to assist them. And then, of course, we had the CARES Act and other federal legislation. Moving forward to today, I think it's really important to keep in mind, as you've seen all the press about the end of the CDC order, that the first thing to keep in mind is that for rental property owners, eviction is always the last resort. As I mentioned, we're in the business of providing housing, and our goal is to have long-term relationships with residents to help them stay in their place. If somebody's facing a temporary bump in the road, once again, I think you saw a response where a lot of owners were offering payment plans or other types of things to help keep residents in place. At the same time, we're an industry, and Mary alluded to this in her comments, about half of all rental property, not only in Texas, but across the country, are what we consider to be small owners. People who may have a rent house or two, somebody who inherited a home and couldn't sell it or didn't want to sell it and turned it into rental property. They moved from a community to another one, but they kept their house to use as an investment to help provide for retirement or supplement their income or just to build a business. And I think that the pandemic has been particularly hard on those smaller owners because they don't have the same access to capital. They don't have the same profit margins or margins within their business that larger owners sometimes have. And a lot more difficulty if you've got 4 rental units and 2 of your renters are not able to pay their rent, the impact on you and your ability in turn to meet your obligations is that much more difficult. And I think for us, it's not only dealing with those maintenance issues and making sure that we're providing amenities to residents. It's about being able to pay employees and vendors and lenders and property taxes as well, and all of those things combined. And of course, while there was mortgage forbearance that may have been available in some cases, there wasn't direct assistance available to the industry to help counter losses that they saw with rent. Fortunately, even with, once again, the end of the order, one of the things that I think is really important to keep in mind, you've seen a lot in the national press about the failure of state and local governments to get out the money that Congress appropriated toward the end of last year. And you might have seen back when the Texas program launched last February that it had a lot of problems, and it really did. They had the unfortunate distinction of trying to launch their program on February 15th, which you may recall coincided very nicely with the winter storms. And they had a lot of issues getting off the ground. But today, the Texas Rent Relief Program is actually the most efficient that I know of in the country. It's generally been reported that about $3 billion in rental assistance across the country has been distributed. Over 620 million of that, so more than 20%, has been through the Texas state program. They have assisted more than 100,000 households. Along within that program, and by the way, averaging about $6,200 per household, covering both past rent up to a full year and up to 3 months rent going forward. And there's the ability for those households as well to get recertified for additional assistance. Within Nacogdoches, the program's helped about 145 families for nearly $600,000 in rental assistance. people who otherwise would be saddled with debt or facing eviction, because they're able to apply to the program and get that assistance, are able to remain in their homes. One of the really big things that has not gotten a lot of attention at all, that I think is very significant, Texas was one of the first states in the country to implement an innovative program based on eviction diversion. So if for some reason the resident hadn't applied to the rental assistance program before an eviction was filed, they are still eligible once they're before the JP court to apply for this eviction diversion program. One difference between the rent relief program and the eviction diversion program is the rent relief program, while it is encouraged for both the rental property owner and the resident to apply, if for some reason the rental property owner does not want to apply and the resident is eligible for the program, they can apply on their own. The eviction diversion program does require the agreement of both parties. But even then, that program has helped nearly 12,000 households, and this is a subset of the rent relief program. But of that 620 million, about 100 million of that has gone through the eviction diversion program and helped nearly 12,000 households. Once again, in Nacogdoches County, it has helped 10 households with about $62,000 in assistance. I think it's important too, when we talk about that money, of course, what it's doing is not only, as I said before, going to the rental property owner, but in turn, helping that owner meet their obligations. About 90% of all rent dollars go right back out the door, whether it be to the vendor, to the employees, to the lenders, or once again, about 20% of that rent dollar goes to property taxes, which of course is vital for communities. You know, as we're moving forward, obviously there are concerns. Nobody knows what's going to happen with the uptick in the cases dealing with the Delta variant. Certainly it's something for concern, but there are a lot of positive indicators out there in terms of not only is, once again, despite what you're hearing nationally, the Texas rent relief program working fairly well, but certainly trends with unemployment figures going down, the wide availability of the vaccine are all very positive. But as we've seen the expiration of the CDC order, we are continuing to urge that our members look at what they can do to help keep residents in their home. If they do have to proceed with an eviction, to help the renters understand that, you know, evictions are a process. You give a notice to vacate, which is an indicator that you're going to go to court, but renters still have their day in court. And usually it's at least a 3 or 4 week process for that to occur, for there to be the hearing, there's an appeals process, etc., and to try to make sure that everybody has their rights to be heard, while at the same time making sure that owners are in position to be able to run their businesses to serve their residents going forward. There's a lot more I could talk about in general about the Texas market, but I know that there's a lot of interest in this issue. And let me stop here and see if there are any questions or comments.
David, talk a little bit about rental prices, housing prices, that kind of thing arising as rapidly as they are, and housing shortages, and I don't know about apartments particularly.
Yeah, thanks for that question. And it's a really good one. You know, Texas is really blessed in a way that we are such a center of activity, and we have so much going on both economically and people moving to the state. And the reality is that the number of houses, whether we're talking about single family or multifamily, just has not been able to keep up with demand. I don't have really good statewide figures for you, Gary, so I'm going to be off on this, but I know that many communities, we are seeing record home prices these days. The Austin market, for example, I'm sorry I don't have Nacogdoches numbers. I don't know if we have any realtors on the call who might have a sense of that, but the average home in Austin reached a record level of median price of $514,000. Which is just phenomenal to me. But you're seeing that in a lot of the markets across the state. In addition to that, what we're seeing right now is just as many of you in your businesses are facing supply chain issues, we are on the multifamily industry side of things as well, and it's certainly impacting new construction. So even as Dallas was second nationwide in construction permits this first half of 2021. Houston market was number 2 or 3. Austin was number 10. That's for all types of construction permits, but the numbers hold true when we talk about housing. You're seeing not only difficulty getting materials, but large price increases. There have been a lot of attention paid to lumber prices this past year. They've actually settled down a little bit. But for example, and I was on a call last week with an architect who does a lot of multifamily work. He was saying the price of doors has gone up 20%. The price of roofing materials is averaging about a 10% increase. Hardy board, which is for those of you who don't know, is kind of an alternative that can be used for exteriors, has gone up 30%, and the company right now is not accepting orders for new multifamily developments. Those are just a few of the types of examples that he was laying forward about how much price increases we're seeing. Some of those are supply chain related and will come back down, but some of those are going to continue into the future. And regardless, as you're doing that development, it is adding to the cost of housing ultimately. In terms of rental prices, last year in many of the markets across the state, we're actually seeing rent decreases as you're seeing people leave urban cores or because there was less demand. This year, you are seeing rent increases coming back. Once again, I don't know about the Nacogdoches market. I apologize. Mary may have some sense, but I know about 10% in a lot of the markets around the state, rents are going up, which is significant. But at the same time, we're seeing property tax increases. We're seeing these maintenance costs. We're competing for employees just like everyone else. We are insurance costs. I'm sure many of you have been hit by this as well, but we've had 2 years in a row of massive insurance cost increases, particularly for property casualty insurance. And all of those things are coming to bear. And what I think what's most important about your commentary is when we're looking at those people who are having trouble paying rent today, it doesn't get any easier for them if the owners have to raise their rents to meet the property tax increases or the cost increases. And all of those pressures are coming to bear right now.
Thank you, David. I want to just let you guys know that Lisa Norman with our Board of Realtors Association lets us know she doesn't have a mic, but the current median price in Nacogdoches is $200,000, which is up 27%. Thank you, Lisa, for that. And I was glad David mentioned local realtors. Does anyone else have a question? Maybe someone in the industry? All right, well, Wayne Mitchell has let me know. I think he can still hear us, but he's lost audio at the moment, and it looks like video. So we'll just continue to move through the agenda unless Mary or David, do either one of you have any closing comments?
Just what a pleasure it is to be with you all today, sincerely, and I can't wait to be back up in Piney Woods.
Yeah, I agree. we have a lot of fun to visit up here with our weather and the trees and the the gardens. Oh my. So look forward to bringing you back to Nacogdoches, David. Thank you.
And I just have to mention, because Mary is a great communicator, she lets us know all the good things that TAA is doing and all the resources that she shares with her members. So if anyone is interested or know of someone that is involved in renting property in any way, please let them know about Mary and the Piney Woods Apartment Association. They really are a valuable resource.
Thank you, Kelly.
So moving forward, I saw on the agenda that the president of Stephen F. Austin State University is on the agenda, but I'm not sure if he's on the call. I'm going to give him a chance to jump in, but I am going to mention in this time that the chamber, along with other businesses in our area and community partners, are working on painting our town purple. So just look for more information on that coming soon. We plan to really get SFA spirit in Nacogdoches throughout our county. I do see that we have our Nacogdoches City Manager, Mario Canizares, on the call now. Good morning, Mario. Would you like to give us some updates? Oops, I see it looks like you're on, Mario, but unfortunately we don't hear anything. I tell you what, if you don't mind, if y'all want to work on that, we'll move on to our Executive Director for Visit Nacogdoches, Sherry Chaney Morgan. She's with us, and I think we can hear you, Sherry.
I think so. Can you? All right. Good morning, friends. Good news, all good news to report from Visit Nacogdoches. We did receive our June numbers for hotel occupancy, and that June outperformed May. And for the first time in 2 years, our numbers are all in the black. So our running 12 and our year to date. So we are happy for that. We continue to see tons of day traffic visitors, and that makes us smile as well. But always with a sense of caution as we look inside of our community and we see surges and spikes in our COVID numbers. So while it is great to see the recovery, let's not lose sight of what it was like and exercise precaution where we can. I wanted to extend great thanks to the Nacogdoches community for your continued and ongoing generous support of our programming efforts. We had the second full moon summer concert with the Spicolis, and not as many visitors as we did for the first Already Gone concert, but still a fair amount. We estimate upwards of 600 people came out in that evening to enjoy a throwback to the 80s. People were up and dancing. It was certainly a fun time to be had by all. And again, I cannot thank the different city departments that helped orchestrate everything that goes on behind the scenes that people really, concert goers don't have to worry about. But know that it was the elves behind the scene were working hard, and the greatest elf of all is Joanna Temple, who just pours her heart and soul in that, which leads me to a request for help. One of the things that we encounter when it comes to putting on events like this is a need for volunteers for setup and breakdown. So as we move forward, our next concert is going to be on October 22nd. It's with an outstanding tribute band, the Fab Five. They're a Beatles tribute band. If you know of groups that have service hour requirements that need to be met, It's one of those things that many hands make light work. If we could get a couple of able-bodied men or women with pickup trucks, it would be a 30-minute thing. But with Joanna and I and Ashley and Ashley's husband and Mike, there, you know, it takes a little bit longer than that. So if you can help us work out that, then that would be one hiccup in the road to programming, and it will just open up the opportunities for us to have more fun community events like that. And I will wind up by letting you know about something else exciting that we're doing. Well, two other things. Next week on August the 9th, we are having a tourism summit called Reach Across the River with our counterparts in Lufkin to look at opportunities to schedule our community programming in such a manner that we can invite people into the region and let them explore both of our communities, and also to share in the cost of marketing and the building of regional itineraries. So we're excited about that, and I'm excited to be able to report back what comes of that. And again, with this new leadership with Mayor Mize and with Mario, and there is a new, just an insurgence of opportunities and explorations and different ways to do things that represent the changing times. So we're excited to be a part of that in tourism. And yesterday, staff here at Visit Nacogdoches met to explore wellness tourism. I think we all know throughout the pandemic that people really turned more towards health and fitness and wellness and mindfulness and intentional living. And we are so blessed here in Nacogdoches that we've always had those sorts of assets. We've got Morning Glory Yoga, we've got Stretch ER, we've got Whole Again Wellness Center. Rachel Gallons out at Caddo Mounds takes yearly sabbaticals to Woodstock to learn about making tinctures and holistic medicine. We have some key community players here that really could provide a great service and experience for visitors to see Nacogdoches through a wellness lens now. So we are in the early stages of pulling in those key players to see what we can do to, similar to our model of wine, whiskey, and brew tours, have a weekend experience quarterly that we can invite people in as a package deal so that they can experience sort of the more mindful side of the oldest town in Texas, and to turn thoughts to, you know, to their inner self beneath the beautiful canopy of pines that we have. So exciting things, I think, might be a bore to you, but I'm always excited to show off Nacogdoches in new and different ways. So as always, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for the things that you do to help make Nacogdoches a great place to visit.
Thank you, Sherry. Does anyone have any questions for Sherry? Love that innovative thinking about all the good things that we have in Nacogdoches that we can all enjoy too, right? All right, I believe our city manager, Mario Canizares, and our president of the Economic Development Corporation, Larissa Philpott, are able to speak to us now and give us their updates. We're still not hearing.
There we go.
Ah.
Are we unmuting now? Are we muted now? Hello? Can you hear us?
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, I don't know if I'm speaking into a phone or into a computer, but I'm speaking. So if you can hear me, great. If not, just read lips. So tonight we've got City Council. Pretty full agenda. We look forward to hearing the report about the Blueberry Festival. So you may have already covered that earlier when we were trying to get onto the call, but look forward to hearing the highlights of that wonderful event this last June, and many more things to come from that. We are in the budget season, so we are going to be over the next several weeks having conversations with City Council about the budget. One of the areas of emphasis that we have for the budget is additional assistance in streets, code enforcement, customer service. We're also looking at doing some wage adjustments for some of our in our areas of raising our minimum wage, and so for some certain employees, and so we're looking to have good conversations with City Council. So lots of activities, mostly been budget conversations that we're having. Towards the end of the month, we're going to be having a conversation with City Council with the consultants that we're looking at bringing on board for our comprehensive land use plan and downtown master plan that will be coming to City Council at the end of August. And so look forward to having those conversations with the consultant along with council to start setting those expectations as we move forward into that project. So that's all I really have to report, and I appreciate everyone's time and patience on our technical issues.
If it's okay with you, Kelly, I'm just going to take over my spot right after Mario. I am sending in the comments section a link to the Nacogdoches County broadband survey. We've talked about this several times. Just as a reminder, this is a survey to show the telecommunications company and the Federal Communications Commission exactly what our broadband access is in the community. We know the existing maps across the country broadly overestimate our broadband capabilities locally. You've probably seen that the federal government is working on trying to fund broadband improvements as part of COVID relief and as part of the federal infrastructure package. So doing this survey will help direct dollars to our community in the form of broadband infrastructure. If you click on that link, you'll notice they ask you to fill it out as part of a category. You might fill it out just as a resident. You might fill it out as somebody associated with healthcare or agriculture. It's important that we have all of those segments covered. So you might take it twice at your house, at your farm, have your doctor fill it out at his office and fill it out at home. So just as many of those as we can get in as possible. The survey will be open for another couple of weeks. I also wanted to mention tonight at City Council at 4:30 p.m. we will have a workshop to discuss the city's economic development policies. These are policies that every city in the state has. We have some existing, and it's time to update them to bring some new life to those policies, to bring some new kind of complexity, and also to let the businesses know that we're trying to recruit to Nacogdoches exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for specific types of businesses that best match our community's needs and can best support our community, and then economic development policy supports that. We will also, during the regular session, be discussing an economic development incentive with HCH Aviation. That's Shannon Conklin's company that is hoping to operate, or will be operating, a flight school with SFA starting here in just a few months. The basic premise of that agreement is that the city is promising to make some public improvements at the airport in exchange for HCH operating a flight school out there. These are all public improvements that the city was going to make at the airport at some point. We're just asking them to accelerate those to support the flight school. Just a note about that, what the city gets in exchange for that, we had a study done a few years ago that I think it was 2017 that showed for each 1,000 new students at SFA, the local economy receives an indirect impact of $16.6 million. So every single one of those students represent an increase to our local economy. And so that's why we are requesting the City Council support this new program so we can help fully grow the airport and grow SFA. Please fill out your survey in the comment box. Thank you.
Thank you both. Does anyone have questions for Larissa or Mario? And if not, we will move on to the president and CEO of our Nacogdoches Area United Way, Mr. Gary Lee Ashcraft, who I bet his microphone will work.
It does work. Can you hear me? I'm going to try to mindfully and wholly and try to elevate my conversations without pivoting too much. So there you go. You just got some of my words that drive me nuts. Anyway, we are very involved and engaged in planning for 2 major events. Our kickoff, by the way, Caroline Garner and Kenny Arena, my 2 bosses, are on the line. So if I screw up these remarks, you guys just go ahead and jump on in and correct me as you do. But we have our kickoff coming up. It's going to be exciting. It's a party, which I like parties a lot, as my wife knows. And we will do that on August the 31st, which is a Tuesday. It'll be in the evening. It will start at 5:30. We'll probably have a couple hundred people there. We're going to have a little entertainment there, but there will be no speeches even by me. We just want everybody to gather and celebrate what's happening at your United Way, because right now there's a buzz about campaigns. We have a great leadership team of our leaders that are calling campaigns, organizing campaigns, giving us dates of campaigns. Kenny and I are on a venture right now calling on smaller businesses with a new program called 365. The idea behind that is $1 a day. It will help us to be partners with you, and we're getting great response to that. People are calling us. I'm having trouble keeping up. So we're adding to the family of the partnerships, which all of you all are with the Nacogdoches Area United Way, and I thank you for that. The other thing about that is do dat. The show goes on. We are heavily engaged in planning for do dat. Just a reminder, when that happens is September 25th. I finally got the date right. It's on Saturday. It's at the A.L. Mangum Regional International Airport. How are we going to do that? We're figuring that out. How we're going to get water to everybody and electricity to everybody. Richard Shade and Ronnie Henson are the 2 leaders of that event. We're a little concerned about our grillers coming on board. They, like David was talking about businesses earlier, some of them have been affected by COVID, and they're very not able to do some of the things that they might be able to do. So if you're interested in showing up and grilling some fine barbecue and getting a plaque for winning the prize, come on out. I got a feeling there'll be plenty of people, plenty of food, plenty of volunteers. We're excited about it. And on that note, I'll talk a little bit about a volunteer certification program that we're doing. It'll be ready to launch here pretty much at the end of the summer, we think. All of you all are great volunteers, but what we found out, especially in the snow event, a lot of people wanted to show up, but they really don't know how to do it. And so this is going to be a certification program put on in conjunction with the School of Social Work, Dr. Eminente Oliphant. And we will do a 3-hour online training segment to kind of teach people what to do, not just in emergency situations, but just volunteering for the chamber or the Salvation Army or whatever. I mean, we've got a lot of young people that we're bringing up from companies, from banks and what have you, and they've not volunteered before. So how do we do that? I think it's a great idea, and we'll be telling you more about that as we proceed with these conversations we're having on these Tuesday mornings, which I appreciate very much. So Kelly and Wayne, thank you for having us on. That's all I've got, unless somebody has some stumping question for me. I'm going to sign off and live united, y'all.
Well, thank you very much to you and Caroline and your board members and your team for all the good things you're doing in our area. Speaking of more good things going on in Nacogdoches, we have Les Linebarger with Nacogdoches Independent School District.
Thank you, Kelly. Good morning. It's good to see everyone. It is that time. We are less than 3 weeks away from the start of school here in Nacogdoches. That will be on Monday, August 23rd. And I've always said that in small towns, smaller communities that are close knit like ours, yes, the calendar runs January 1st is the start of the new year. But in a community like this as well, there's something that begins with the start of the school year, and that's all the good things associated with it. There'll be football and volleyball and marching band and all that. So that's going to be coming up beginning Monday, August 23rd. We've got new teachers in the building right now as we speak. They are at the auditorium at the high school going through orientation. Later this week, our returning teachers will be coming back in as they begin preparations for the start of school. Next Friday, August 13th, is our convocation at the competition gym at Nacogdoches High School. And it's just a busy time of the year around here. Things are obviously really hopping. And my fellow coworker, Erin Wyndham in the communications office, has got a couple of things she needs to add as well. Erin?
Hi, thanks, Les. Couple of things. In terms of NISD, I want you to know that the school board approved a resolution to create an education foundation for Nacogdoches ISD. And in the coming weeks and months, you will be hearing more about that. We're very excited. It's something that has been a long time coming and something that will benefit our district and ultimately our children and families greatly. On a separate note, I want to just echo what Larissa was saying about the broadband survey that has been going around. I want to encourage everyone to answer that. You can respond and complete that survey twice. Some people maybe even 3 times if you are from 3 different areas. Right when you get on the survey, you'll see some icons that will allow you to click through, start off with. So if you're with K-12 or healthcare, we are particularly in need of healthcare responses from different healthcare facilities around the county. So if you are involved with either doctor's office, hospital, something like that, please have someone at your office complete that survey for the broadband quality and availability at your location. As many of these responses as we get, the better our data will be. So please continue to share that link. I think Larissa put it in the chat. Share that out with everyone, your coworkers, friends, family. I keep putting it in Nacogdoches Talk. And on my personal and business pages, you will see NAC ISD push that out again. We are making great progress having those surveys completed, but there are just some areas of the county that we really need to reach, in particular healthcare. So, and residential from as far out rural as we can get. So please continue to encourage everyone to do that. Along those lines, I just want to say Mickey Slimp sent out a last minute invite to some of us to be able to meet with Jessica Zufalo from Magellan. She's the government relations person for the engineering team at Magellan that's working closely with DETCOG and their efforts regarding broadband, and Judge Hunt and Mickey Slimp. And we were able to talk to her, and she had really great ideas in terms of economic development along the lines of broadband and technology here. And so I just throwing that out there because I want you to know that the survey results and the things that we're working on isn't just the last mile and regarding fiber and better broadband. It's like so far reaching and so broad to affect us positively in all different areas, business and economic development, education, K-12 and higher ed. So anyway, just everybody participate and know that we're working hard to improve Nacogdoches from this aspect.
That's great. Thank you, Erin and Les, for all that information. We appreciate you sharing and keeping us up to date with what's going on in Nacogdoches ISD. So we have a couple of familiar faces with us, and I'm really pleased to introduce Diane Ameren. She's the director of the Angelina College Small Business Development Center. Diane, do you have some updates for us?
Yes, I guess probably of real interest to people is our new clients have kind of slowed down. We're through the big hustle and bustle of COVID funding. However, we are still having people, very impact-ready clients sign up, which is very encouraging. And we're just really thrilled about the quality of the clients that are reaching out for our business services and support. I want to encourage all of you, if you have need of just our core services or people in the community that you know of that need help to start, grow, or expand their businesses, we are available to help with business plans and direct toward access to capital. And we still have some CARES funding through September of 2022 for specialists to help with human resources, marketing, various things that are normally not available through our office. And we have been told that if you have a need and we don't have a person on staff, they are able to reach into their big pool of human resources and find someone. So I just wanted people to know that we are here and available and excited to help in whatever way we can. Thanks for asking me to speak, Kelly.
Well, thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to working with you more and seeing what's going on in our business community. I'd like to also introduce Anita Scott at the Nacogdoches County Exposition and Civic Center. Anita, is anything going on in your corner?
Oh, well, we have just a few little things. Well, we just got done with two big events, and so we're excited about that. We had the Bureau of Land Management here. They had their wild horses and burros in the main arena, and so they nearly adopted every animal that they brought. So we're excited to be a part of that. And then we also had the gun show going on. And I don't know if Mr. Mitchell is still on, but he came out, he and Miss Bonnie, and they enjoyed seeing the animals and stuff. And so I enjoyed getting to visit with them. So we were busy this past weekend. We've got 10 events going on here at the Expo Center in August. We have a private party that will bring in, of course, hotel nights to our hotels. That's going to be on the 7th. We have a Mexican rodeo and concert the very next day. That's August the 8th. There are about 10 bulls and have 4 different bands on stage here at the Expo Center. Don't ask me to pronounce the names of the bands, but if you go to our website on our Google Calendar, that's the www.nacexpo.net. We have all of the information about the event on that. You can also look at our Facebook page to find out more information. Then on the next Saturday, the 14th, we have the Dancing with the Stars presented by the Nacogdoches Memorial Hospital, benefiting the Nacogdoches Senior Center, and that's going to be in the main arena. The downstairs Civic Center room. And the tickets for that is $55 for individuals or $450 for a table of 8. That's Havana Night, so that's their theme. They're asking everybody to dress the theme if possible, but if not, dress nice. It's black tie affair, East Texas style, I guess you'd say. No flip-flops, t-shirts, that kind of thing. Just nice. And again, if you want to know more information about that, you can go to our website or the Facebook page. On Saturday, the 21st, we have a paint and social. That's a new event for us. We have never done anything like that, so we're excited about that. That is promoted by Kennethy Horn. He is a food truck owner. It's bona fide food truck. I don't know if any of y'all have heard of him, but he's been at some of the events, I think, downtown and stuff like that. So he's having that event here. And again, it's new. If you'll go to our Facebook page or our website, you can find out more information about that. On the 25th, we have a steer show validation for all of the major shows, and also for the show, that the event that is in conjunction with the Nacogdoches Pro Rodeo and Steer Show. So as you can see, some of these events we start getting ready for those months ahead. So that's one of the things that we're going to be doing on the 25th in Drawing 3. On the 27th through the 29th, we'll have Region 5 High School Rodeo that is going to happen all weekend here at the Expo Center. They bring in people from Beaumont, Jasper, all of those areas, all of those families will be here in Nacogdoches. They'll be eating in our restaurants and shopping in our stores and things like that. Those ladies love to shop. So they'll be here, like I said, that's August the 27th through the 29th. And then on the 31st, we'll have the Sharon Shriner Circus. I don't have all the details about that right now, but we will get that. And as we do, we'll put that on our website and on our Facebook page as well. And on the same day, we will have broiler banding, the wing banding. Ask me what broiler banding is. That is where they'll, that's for the Piney Woods Fair. So all the kids that are showing chickens will, the teachers will band the birds, and that identifies the bird so that, you know, the kids, when they pick them up, that shows who owns those birds. So they'll band 2,000 little biddies on August the 31st, and then the kids will pick them up here at the Expo Center from 3 to 5:30. That's all happening here at the Expo Center. And we've got there's other things going on as well, but those are the big things that we have. And if you have any questions, give us a call. If you're looking for a place to rent, a spacious place we have upstairs, please come and visit us. We can go over pricing and things like that. It's 4,400 square foot room upstairs. We set it up for you, have sound, the projectors, all the good stuff. I think Mr. Les Lindbergh, if he's still in the he can tell you. I think they were here a couple last week or so doing a training, and so we're here doing a lot of things for Nacogdoches, and proud to be a part of it. That's all I have. If y'all have any questions.
Thank you, Anita. We appreciate everyone who's joined us. If we did miss someone and you have a special announcement, we will be back in 2 weeks. And please contact the chamber and let us know about what you have to share. We also want to remind folks we're going to be at Nacogdoches Memorial Hospital tomorrow on Wednesday at 4 p.m. to celebrate with a ribbon cutting and employee appreciation with them. And also our Eggs and Issues this month on August 26th. Will feature Dr. Hans Williams with SFA's College of Forestry. So find everything you need at nacogdoches.org. Thank Burke for their sponsorship of these calls. We appreciate them, and we appreciate you for joining us today. Have a great and prosperous week.